Hi, so we will start the interview. Can you just tell me what are the tasks and what are the tools that you have worked on in DevOps?
Yeah, sure. I have started my career with DevOps. I used to
Okay,
work with Jenkins, Maven, Git, SonarQube, Artifactory during initial days of my career.
okay, uh-huh.
And later I started working with Docker, Kubernetes, and Ansible.
Okay, uh-huh.
And also I have performed POCs on cloud platforms
Hmm.
like AWS and GCP.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's fine. So DevOps is like kind of like agile methodology, right? Like it's
Mhm.
combination of many tools and technologies and all.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of words you might be aware of that. So what is continuous integration and continuous delivery and continuous deployment?
Continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment are all software development and software release practices, which most of the companies have adopted according to their requirements. Before, they used to follow a waterfall model, agile methodologies, etc., which had certain issues. Like in case of waterfall model, there will not be continuous feedback, and in case of agile, we can have continuous feedback, but there is no continuous integration testing. Continuous integration is a process where developers frequently merge their code change into a shared repository. Then there will be automated building and testing.
Okay,
Continuous delivery is actually the extension of continuous integration, where we will mimic few things before production deployment, like run current project on a fake server, test performance. So only when everything is working fine, then there will be a manual approval to deploy to production environment. And continuous deployment is a process where it validates if code changes are stable using automated tests and deployed to production without any explicit approval. So changes will be directly deployed on production server in this case.
okay, okay. That's great. So have you worked on Git?
Yeah, I have worked.
So which version of Git you have used?
I think currently I'm using 2.x
Okay.
version.
Yeah. Okay. So, so you know what is Git merge and Git rebase?
Git merge and Git rebase are actually designed for same purpose, that is to integrate changes from one branch to another branch, but they do it in different ways. For
Okay.
example, like when I'm working on a new feature in my project in a dedicated branch, and then one of my team members updates development branch with new commits. And if that new commits are relevant to the feature that I am working on, then I would need to incorporate those new commits into my feature branch. So to do this, I have two options, that is merge and rebase. So when I do git merge, it creates a new merge commit in my feature branch that ties histories of both branches. And then when I do git rebase, it moves the entire feature branch to begin on the tip of the development branch, incorporating all those new commits.
Okay. Yeah.
So with the git rebase, we can get clean project history as we get all unique commits from both branches one by one.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. And so, do you know Git Squash? Why
Yeah,
we use Git Squash?
it is basically for combining commits that can be achieved with rebase. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, basically that git rebase hyphen hyphen interactive will allow us to rewrite repository history.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay. So, what I mean, you mentioned like you've worked on a couple of projects, right? So, what
yeah.
branching strategy you have used in your project, and so I mean, which you felt like which is I mean like very good. So, in perspective of branching strategy. So, can you just explain that?
Yeah, sure. Currently in our project, we basically have master branch, development branch, feature branch, release and hotfix branches. So master, it contains production code, which is stable. Development branch has pre-production code. When we are assigned with a new feature to add on, then we will create branch from development branch. And then when we are done with the new feature, we will create pull request, and then that is merged into development branch, and that particular feature branch will be deleted. And release branch is to support preparation of new production release. And hotfix is just to patch production releases.
Okay. So have you worked in Maven as well? The build tool Maven. So
Yeah, I have worked.
okay. So there are build life cycles in Maven, right? So can you just list out all the life cycles?
Yeah, sure. There are three build life cycle in Maven. That is clean, build, and site.
Okay. So what does ambient site used for?
Okay, that actually generates site documentation for the project. It has four phases, and those are pre-site, site, post-site, and site deploy. Actually, it will generate the project report, which will include a project license, project summary, about details, dependencies, source repository, continuous integration report, and all of that stuffs. And it will create one HTML document.
Okay. So is there so in Maven we have a couple of repository. One is local repository, remote repository, central repository, right?
Yeah.
So for the second time when you run the project, so it will take less time because the first time when you run MVN install or any commands, like it will download all the dependencies and plugins. It will store in .m2, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
let's say I don't want to use that .m2 as my local repository. I need to use some other folder as a local repository. So
Okay.
is it achievable in Maven?
Yes, definitely we can set some other custom directory other than .m2.
Okay.
We have two options.
Mm-hmm.
Can just modify settings.xml file, wherein we need to edit local repository tag with new directory.
Mm-hmm.
And also we can execute mvn install -d local.repo command.
Okay. So and then you would have worked definitely with ambient deploy as well. So
Yeah.
so I mean if you want to achieve ambient deploy, so what are all the settings that you need to do?
Yeah, we need to define a repository that we deploy to in the project's POM file. In the distribution management section, we need to define ID, name, and URL of the repository we will deploy our artifacts to. And also, we need to define authentication information in settings.xml file.
Okay. So what does mean by GAVs in POM?
GAVs are nothing but group ID, artifact ID, and version. They are used to uniquely identify a project.
Okay. Okay. And so this what is a packaging tag will be there? Like let's say if you want to generate any war file or like anything, so
Y-
you just need to give the extension, right?
Yes.
So the tag for that is packaging. So what is the default value for that? Let's say
Uh,
you never defined that in your POM. So
okay.
if it is not defined, what will be the value for that?
Okay. Jar is the default value of packaging tag,
Okay.
and we also have other values POM, var, EAR,
Mhm.
jar.
Okay. So which CE tool you have worked in? Like Jenkins? Jenkins,
Yes,
right?
yes, Jenkins.
Okay. So what are the job types that you've worked on in Jenkins, worked in Jenkins?
Yeah, I have worked mostly on freestyle, Maven, and pipeline jobs. Also, I have good idea about multi-configuration project, multi-branch pipeline.
Okay. 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 So let's say you said so you explained me that branching strategy, right? So
Yeah,
let's say a developer takes a code out of master branch and he creates a feature branch and he raises a PR
okay.
to get it merged back to master. right?
Okay.
So I want to create a job for that PR, pull request.
Okay.
So
Okay.
is it possible in Jenkins?
Yeah, we can have job for PR. We can use multi-branch pipeline job for PR jobs.
Okay. And also you did mention that like once the merge is done, so the branch will be deleted,
Yes.
be the source. So how that is done?
In GitHub settings, we can enable that particular option to delete the source branch when merge is done.
Okay. That's cool. And you said like you mentioned that you have worked on pipeline job as well.
Yeah.
So there will be something called as post block, right? So why that is used for and what is the importance? Like, is it mandatory to have it or like so?
Since post section of the pipeline will run at the end of pipeline's execution, we can perform several tasks like finalization, cleaning up, notification. So we have some test conditions that we can use in the post block of Jenkins, like always, unstable, aborted, success, failure. That depending on the requirement, we can define these test conditions. Like when we use always, regardless of the completion status of the pipelines run, it will always run the steps in this post condition. Similarly, if the completion status is unstable, then only it will run the steps in the post condition of the unstable. So we can use these test conditions in the post block of Jenkins.
Okay. So and then so how we can take a backup because Jenkins is like wherein you'll have all the configurations of your job, and so you need to definitely monitor and you need to take the backup. Like you never
Yes.
know. So when your mission goes down or any mission goes down or something like that, so you have to take continuously backup. So have you worked on backup things, Jenkins backup?
Yeah, I have worked on it. Usually, all the settings, artifact archives, build logs are stored under Jenkins home directory. So we can just take backup of this Jenkins home directory, and usually it will be under .jenkins path. And also we have Jenkins backup plugin, which we can use it to take a backup.
Okay. So have you worked in Docker? So
Yeah, yeah.
can you tell me the version that you worked in, like Docker?
Currently. I'm not sure. Recently, I've not checked.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And so there are Docker comes with the other components like Docker Compose and Docker Swarm.
Yeah,
So have you like worked on it?
yeah, I have worked on it. They both are meant to deal with multi-container applications.
Okay. So Docker Compose and Docker Swarm.
Yeah, Docker Compose is the tool to define multi-container application. And the advantage of using Compose is we can define application stack in a single file, which we can keep it at the root of our project repository, so that if anyone else wants to contribute to the project, they can just clone the repository and start the Compose application. So with this Docker Compose definition file, with a single command, we can spin up everything. And Docker Swarm is same as Kubernetes. It is a container orchestration tool which allows us to manage multiple containers deployed across multiple host machines. It allows us to perform scaling, networking, and maintaining containerized applications. So the difference here is Docker Swarm is used to scale application across one or more servers, but Docker Compose will simply run application on a single host.
Okay. So have you worked on Docker volumes and Docker mounting?
Yeah.
So why exactly why there are like why what is Docker volume and why we need Docker mounting? So can you just explain on that?
When we use volume command, it will actually create new folder in the host system. So when that particular container crashes, we can attach the same volume to other container. And we use bind mounts to bind an existing folder in the host system to a path in the container. So when we link development folders to a path in the container, any change in the host folder will reflect in the container. So we don't have to redeploy again and again.
Okay. So have you come across the file called as Docker ignore file?
Yeah.
So why which is like
Um,
why it is there in Docker?
yeah, we can specify patterns for files and folders to exclude from final build image. So when we do Docker build, it is necessary to prevent files from being added to build context. So it avoids unnecessary sending large and sensitive files to the image build.
Okay. So normally we will name the Docker file with named as Docker file only.
Yeah.
So is it possible to name something like
Uh,
test.txt or project name.txt, something like that?
we can name Docker files however we like.
Mhm.
Default file name is Docker file without any extension.
Okay.
But if we use default name, it makes various tasks easier. Like
Uh-huh.
when we use build command, we can just specify dot to refer Docker file in that location. So if we name Docker file with any other name, we should specify using hyphen F when building image.
Okay. So like let's say Docker, when it comes to Docker, so you'll be creating multiple images and multiple containers and many things, right?
Yeah,
So many containers are stopped and many images are unused. So I want to make sure all those things will be deleted. So my particular requirement is I need to delete all the stopped containers, unused images and all. So is there any command by which like atta short like I can delete everything?
yeah, we can do Docker system prune hyphen E. With this command, we can delete all stopped containers and unused images.
Okay. So have you worked on Kubernetes?
Yeah,
So it is you have worked and like it's like you have learned for yourself.
no, we have started implementing Kubernetes in our project now.
Okay, then fine. So you're mostly into you're consuming Kubernetes or more, administrating Kubernetes.
Not administering,
Hmm.
just deploying application, such
Okay,
tasks.
okay. So when you create any pod, so like let's say when you create a deployment, so all the pods or anything, so it will go on to other machines like worker nodes. I'm telling about like
Uh,
one master. Like think about one master and multi node. Okay.
okay.
So all the pods will go and deploy onto different machines, like not on the master, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So why does it so? Like why? I mean, can we deploy on a master pod, master node, or like
Yeah, we
what?
have a way, but best practice is not to deploy application workloads on a master server. When the Kubernetes cluster is first set up, we can notice taint is set on master node. So we
Okay.
can run kubectl describe node and just look for taint section.
Mm-hmm.
It would be set to not schedule any pod on master.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but we can schedule pods on master by applying tolerations to pods with
Mm-hmm.
matching tails.
Okay. Yeah. So have you come across config maps while working on any projects?
Yeah, yeah.
So why we will use config maps?
Config map is an object that is used to store data in key value pairs. Data in the sense which is not actually sensitive. So we can separate environment specific configuration from application code using config map. Like when we want to change the configuration, for example, with respect to environment variable, we can simply change it in config map file and then we are good to go. We don't have to change in every location where data is referenced in application.
Okay. So there will be deployments, right? Like in Kubernetes. Okay.
Yeah,
So when you do any changes, and again, if you do kubectl apply if an app find then the file name, so then definitely it follows some mechanism, like
yes,
making sure so few parts are up and running and few parts are like down or something. So
yeah.
what is the default strategy, deployment strategy in Kubernetes?
A rolling update strategy is actually the default deployment strategy. So
Okay.
basically, there are two types of deployment strategies: recreate and rolling update.
Okay.
So in case of rolling update, application never goes down. We will not destroy all the instances at once. We will actually take down older version and bring up a newer version one by one. But in case of recreate strategy, we will destroy all instances at once and create newer versions. So in this case, application will be down and inaccessible to users. So default strategy is rolling update.
So which one do you feel is better? Like,
I
let's say
think
it is development environment. So which one is better?
okay, in production, rolling update is better, but in development, I think we can go with
Oh,
both. Both are fine.
okay. Have you so used Helm in your projects? Like,
Yeah, like I deploy application using Helm chart.
okay. So why? I mean, exactly why we need Helm?
Helm is basically a package manager for Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
It will actually ease the deployment complexity with Kubernetes, which involves writing many interdependent Kubernetes resources such as deployment, services, secrets, config map, etc. So it enables to deploy application easily with a single Helm install command instead of creating every resource separately, which will also improve developer productivity.
Okay. So in Helm, so basically we will deal with many like files. We'll have templates and values.ymls and many things, right? So my requirement is like I've defined many values. Like in values.yml, I've defined many tags, but I'm not using in my what do you say, like in my templates. So is there any way by which we can see which is not unused tags, unused YML tags that I've not used in my templates? Is there any way or like so? I mean, if not, like, can we write a shell scripting for that?
Yeah, we can write a script for that. Also, we have one more option, like we can just run Helm lint with hyphen hyphen detect unused values option. So with that, I think we can just identify what are all the unused fields in values.yaml.
Okay, so fine. So, have you like come across the exit status? So,
Yeah, it is something that every command returns.
okay. So, I mean, why exactly? What exactly? Why we will use that exit status?
Okay, just to know whether the command is success or failure, this is used. And for a successful command, it returns zero, and unsuccessful one just returns non-zero value. And this dollar question mark will be used to know the exit status.
Okay. So, given a mission, so like let's say I've just given some mission. So it can be Ubuntu or CentOS, anything. Okay.
Okay.
So, is there any command to identify OS, which OS it is?
Yeah, we can just execute uname hyphen e
Mm-hmm.
uh, to identify the mission.
Okay. So you did mention that you have worked on Ansible, right?
Yeah.
So can we execute any playbooks depending on OSs? Like, let's say I want to execute some task on Ubuntu and some task on CentOS, something like that.
Yeah, I think yes.
So I mean, so can you just explain me that?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat?
No, the question is, uh, like, let's say you have so CentOS and nodes are there. So you have
Okay.
CentOS machine and you have Ubuntu machine and all, like, so
Okay.
you want to, like, let's say I have three tasks. Okay.
Okay.
So one is like I need to execute first task on Ubuntu and the second task on CentOS, something like that. So,
Yeah, I think we can mention that host in inventory file and we can execute it.
okay. Okay. And so have you come across Ansible Galaxy?
Yeah,
So why it is used?
it is actually a public repository
Mm-hmm.
for Ansible rules.
Mm-hmm.
from where we can use them in our playbooks.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it is just a free site for finding, downloading, sharing roles,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
uh, which we can use for certain tasks like provisioning infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
deploying application,
Mm-hmm.
and all certain tasks that we do every day.
Okay. So, have you worked on Haddock commands in Ansible?
Yeah.
So, so can you just give me a one simple example? So, that
Yeah,
simple
like
Haddock command.
add of commands are just one-liner commands.
Mm-hmm.
When we have tasks that we don't repeat on daily basis, which we
Okay.
repeat very rarely,
Mm-hmm.
add of commands are the best. So
Mm-hmm.
they're very quick and easy,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't be reused.
Okay.
So the common example that I can give is when we want to power off several machines in a
Mm-hmm.
lab for several days,
Mm-hmm.
we can execute a quick one-liner command to perform that task without writing a playbook.
Okay. So, one more thing. So, can we just, so you will execute some modules. Like, let's say you will take some CMD module and you have executed some command. Okay.
Okay.
So, can we store that output of a command in output of the command?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So, have you come across handlers in Notify and Ansible playbook?
Yeah, I have used.
Okay. So, why handlers in Notify?
Yeah, handlers are regular tasks in playbook,
Mm-hmm.
but it runs only if the tasks contain a notify directive and indicates that it changed something. For example, if a configuration file is changed,
Mm-hmm.
then the tasks referencing that configuration file may notify a service
Mm-hmm.
restart handler. So handlers will perform an action when listens for a notify event.
Okay.
If nothing notifies a handler, it will not run.
Okay. Fine. So, yeah, that's all from DevOps. So you did mention you worked on cloud services, right? So which one, Azure or like AWS?
It's AWS.
Okay, what are all the services that you worked on it? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have worked on a few services EC2, IAM,
Okay.
Route 53,
Hmm.
EBS, CloudWatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious. I just asked you that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, that's all. Good talking to you. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'll let you know the feedback. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.